My name is Vickie Harper, 31 years old, the youngest daughter of a family that never learned how to love without conditions. While my parents built their reputation in Spokane as the picture-perfect, charitable Harper clan, I grew up in the background, working twice as hard, speaking half as often, and always being the one expected to clean up the mess. My siblings shine effortlessly in every room. I'm the one they call when the lights go out and someone needs to hold the wiring together. I've spent most of my life pretending their indifference didn't hurt, that being the overlooked one was safer than being seen. But lately, the silence around me has felt less like neglect, more like a warning. And before everything fell apart, before the collapse at work and the night they never showed up, I sensed something shifting in my family's shadow. I just didn't realize the truth waiting for me was engineered to kill. 10:38 p.m. The office smelled like burnt circuits and stale coffee. My eyes were dry. My shoulders twitched every time my phone buzzed. Another message. My sister Mara. Can you send rent tonight? Just till Friday. Promise. No greeting. No, how are you? Just that. Outside the windows, the night dragged itself over Spokane like a wet coat. My screen pulsed with a security alert. Another system breach simulation.
Routine.
Or so they told us. I reached for my mug. Empty. I hadn't left my desk in 7 hours. My badge pinched my collarbone. A burning in my chest started again, center mass, like someone tightening a fist from the inside. Not the first time. You still here? Arlo Nix's voice cut through the hum of servers. His silhouette stood at the far hallway, tall, too still. Big deployment tonight. My voice cracked. Client wants full failover tested by morning. He stared a second longer than normal. Go home. No one's giving medals for dying at your desk. I offered a smile. Hello. Maybe I just like the silence. Arlo hesitated, then walked off. That was the last thing he said to me. Later, I'd remember that pause. That look. 10:42 p.m.
Pain.
Not sharp, deep. Heavy. My left arm went numb. The screen blurred. Then black spots. Then static. I couldn't feel my legs. My hand grazed my phone.
Send.
The money transferred. Too late to unsend. The floor buckled. My spine met carpet. My body folded in half like paper. Silence. Then, sirens. Blue-white flashes. Rubber soles. Voices muffled. She's coding. The world disappeared. I woke to beeping. Clean white light. The ceiling felt too far away. Hospital. A nurse's face hovered overhead, soft but practiced. You're in Sacred Heart. Can you hear me? I nodded.
Barely.
A machine hissed nearby. Tubes in my arm. Monitor to my chest. I smelled antiseptic and plastic. Cardiac event, the nurse said. You're stable now. Did you call my parents?
She paused.
We called your listed emergency contacts. No answer. Left messages. I'm sorry. I didn't speak.
My mouth was dry.
Hours passed. No flowers. No texts. No knock on the door. The nurse returned, wheeling in my phone, freshly charged. She gave a quick smile before stepping out. I didn't want to look. I looked anyway. No missed calls. No voicemails. One notification. You've been tagged in a post. Username @MarHarperLiving. Photo, my family. Lakefront. Afternoon sun. Everyone smiling. Wine glasses raised. Caption. Family day, no drama this time. My hands trembled. The monitor beside me beeped faster. My fingers tightened around the phone like it was a weapon. I zoomed in. Mom laughing. Dad mid-toast. My brother Nolan flashing peace signs. No empty seat. No empty space. No one missing. I wasn't in the picture. I wasn't even a thought. You know, I whispered to no one, a family who erases you that quickly was never planning to remember you at all. My pulse slowed. If they could erase me from the family, with one click I could erase everything they ever wanted. The morning light cut through the hospital blinds like razors. Cold. Sterile. I counted the ceiling tiles again. 62. Maybe if I reached 63, someone would finally knock. They didn't. A knock meant answers. A knock meant someone gave a damn. Instead, the door hissed open with that too smooth sound only hospitals mastered. A nurse, different from last night, walked in holding a clipboard and a tight smile. "Miss Harper, you've got some paperwork here." She set it on the tray table. "It's just a billing override form. Needs your initials here." She tapped the page, pen ready, to confirm authorization under family plan coverage. My fingers stopped mid-reach. "Family plan." She blinked. "Your sister provided the insurance group. She already signed her portion. I don't have shared coverage with my sister." Her pause was thin, calculated. "It's what's on file. If it's incorrect, you'll have to submit a dispute." "I didn't authorize anything," I snapped. "Who let her sign for me?" "She said you'd approved it before the collapse." She lied. That cracked the smile. The nurse hesitated, looked down. "If you'd like, I can request admin to follow up." "Get me the footage." I cut in. "Show me the moment she walked in and signed." 2 hours later. No one had come back. Not the nurse. Not admin. Not even housekeeping. I pressed the call button twice. Nothing. The hospital had turned into a maze of dead air. People vanish in silence. Paper trails vanish faster. I slid my phone from the drawer. Screen smudged. Battery at 27%. No missed calls. One voicemail. Unknown number. I played it. "You shouldn't be awake yet." I froze. The voice was male. Digitally scrambled. Tin can echo. "They didn't come because they don't need you alive anymore." My breath caught in my throat. The line went dead. Cut scene. I pulled the 4 out of my arm. Blood dotted the white linen. I shoved the charger in, booted up the secure app from work, our emergency protocols interface. Red flag. My account was marked inactive. Access revoked. All outgoing communication from my email redirected to a generic internal archive. They'd locked me out of my own identity. I wasn't a person anymore. Just a file someone didn't want opened. A knock. Real this time. Heavy. Too heavy for a nurse. I flattened against the wall beside the door, heart clawing at my ribs. No announcement. No badge skin beep. Just the mechanical click of an override code being entered. I reached for the aluminum 4-pole. The door handle turned. Then, footsteps in the hallway. Rapid. Voices. "She's still in there." A male voice low. "This isn't your clearance. Step away." Silence. The door didn't open. But I heard it. A whisper, just under the hum of fluorescent lights. A whisper only paranoia could translate. "We have to try again." Later, I found the form Mara had signed for me. It was still tucked under the tray table.
No one had taken it.
They thought I'd forget.
Wrong.
I flipped to the second page. The name listed under secondary contact for medical decisions wasn't Mara. It wasn't anyone I knew. Law Office of Beckett, Lowell and Crane. No address. No state. Just a phone number. I called it. 3 rings.
4.
Then a beep. "This line is no longer in service." Of course it wasn't. Because that number wasn't real. Because my signature wasn't real. Because my family didn't come to see me, they came to sign me away. And now someone was watching to make sure I didn't sign myself back in. Whoever came for me tonight didn't come to check if I was okay. They came to make sure I stayed quiet. The hospital discharge papers were crumpled in my fist. I never signed them. I walked out anyway. The orderly behind the desk blinked as I passed. "Miss Harper, I'm exercising my right to leave against medical advice." My voice didn't shake.
I wanted it to.
A scarlet sunrise bled through the parking lot as I stepped outside. Spokane was silent. Too silent for a weekday morning. A vacuum aftershock. The moment I crossed the sidewalk, my phone buzzed. No ID. A text. "Clock starts now. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Then, the timer appeared. Black background. Red digits. 2 hours 14 minutes and 59 seconds. No sender. No app. Just a countdown embedded into my home screen like it belonged there. I didn't blink.
Cut scene.
My apartment smelled wrong. Something sweet. Too clean. Like someone had wiped it down and then faked the mess back into place. I locked the door behind me, taped the latch, pulled out my laptop from under the false bottom in the hallway drawer.
Still there.
Still cold. I opened it. Inserted the backup flash Arlo had handed me 3 weeks ago, the one marked EP09X. He had slipped it into my hand during a meeting, no words, just a look. At the time, I thought he was being dramatic. Paranoid. The kind of guy who quoted military manuals and slept with a go bag. Turns out paranoia is just insight with better timing. The drive auto-loaded into an encrypted shell. 2 passwords. 1 retina scan. Then silence. Then access granted. A single folder appeared. Aegis Ghost. Inside, data trails. IP logs. Terminal access maps. Financial records. And my name. Repeated. Dozens of times. Used as admin access. Time-stamped during the 36 hours after I collapsed. We use ghosts to keep firewalls clean, Arlo once said. You move data behind a dead signature. No one checks a grave twice. He wasn't being poetic.
They used me.
My crash wasn't an inconvenience. It was a cover. The burner phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. A call. I didn't answer.
Just put it on speaker.
Sat frozen. A man's voice, low and confident. You opened the wrong door, Vickie. I didn't speak.
He laughed. Casual.
But you were always going to. They knew that. It's who you are, isn't it? The one who can't let it go.
Click.
My bank app loaded slower than normal. I wasn't ready. 2 accounts. Both mine. Both joint with me and legal proxy. Harper.
Mara.
Every cent gone. For 01k?
Closed.
Investment rollover from last quarter?
Cashed.
Wire transfer. Destination. Beckett, Lowell, and Crane. I dialed the number again. Disconnected. Of course it was. People don't erase money. They erase records.
Cut scene.
I tore through my bedroom closet, dug out the fireproof safe. Code still worked.
Inside.
Passport. Physical backup hard drive. Birth certificate. And a manila envelope I didn't put there. It was labeled, Final Option, Signature Match. Inside, copies of documents, mortgage releases, legal waivers, a DNR form, each signed V'd Harper in shaky, force loops. None of them mine. The paper smelled faintly like rubbing alcohol. Someone had faked my hand into disappearing. Breath short. I sat on the edge of my tub, hands shaking. The light flickered above. 1 switch. 1 bulb. But the shadows kept moving. I glanced up. Ventilation grate. Open. I reached up, unscrewed it with the tip of a nail file. Inside, a microphone. Wired. Professional grade. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled. Because if they thought I'd break now, they forgot who they built. They framed me. Now I frame them back. But I've only got 2 hours and 15 minutes to take everything down. The timer kept bleeding seconds off my life. 1 hour 58 minutes and 44 seconds. I drove east, away from the city, the sky still bruised from dawn. My hands shook on the wheel. Maybe fear. Maybe adrenaline. Hard to tell the difference these days. Someone once told me, panic and clarity wear the same mask. Only the brave know which one they're putting on. I never figured out which one I was. The GPS pin from the burner phone led me down a service road lined with dying pines. Wind howled across empty gravel. A single warehouse crouched at the end like a forgotten bunker. Evertech's old R&D site. Decommissioned 2 years ago. At least, that's what they told us. I killed the engine. The silence swallowed me whole. Even the birds didn't dare. 1 hour 56 minutes and 2 seconds. The front door wasn't locked. It eased open with a slow metallic groan, as if someone had been here minutes ago and didn't care to hide it.
Cut scene.
The interior smelled like dust and overheated circuitry. Rows of server racks stood like skeletons in metal coffins. Some powered, some dead. Blue LED lights blinked in patterns that didn't match any protocol I'd ever seen. I didn't breathe. Aegis Ghost, I whispered, stepping deeper. You exist. The flash drive plugged in with a soft click. The nearest rack hummed to life, screens flickering awake. Temperature sensors activated. A tiny vibration rippled under my feet. Then access. Tunnels of data spilled across the screen. Financial transfers. Encryption protocols. Route logs. Mapping trails. And at the center, my signature. My digital fingerprint repeated again and again, burned into operations I'd never seen. I scrolled. My heart clenched. They'd used my credentials as a ghost path to move classified surveillance data, facial recognition archives, predictive behavior models, cross-state network ingestion. Illegal everywhere. Untraceable if routed through a dead user. My collapse wasn't a malfunction. Someone had wanted me unconscious, unresponsive, with no alibi and no way to defend myself. A shadow moved across the screen. Not mine. The cursor jerked. Someone else was inside the system, controlling a mirrored view, watching me in real time.
Twist.
A second window forced itself open. Vickie closed the drive. No signature. No source. My breath hitched. Not a chance. The overhead lights flickered, hummed, then went out.
Cut scene.
Darkness swallowed the warehouse. Only the screen glowed, lighting up my face like a ghost story. A force system alert blinked red. Secure mode. Breach detected. Shutdown initiated. Then a metallic slam behind me. The warehouse doors had sealed, locked from the outside.
Of course they had.
People don't build traps unless they're sure something will walk inside. I backed away, pulse slicing through my ribs. If someone's here, say it now. Silence. Then static. Then a whisper of movement behind a row of dead servers. I stepped closer. The screen beeped. A new file appeared on its own. Biotrigger report. User. V'd at Harper. My throat closed. It showed telemetry from my biometric badge, the one EverTech required us to wear at all times. Heart rate. Stress spikes. Vagus nerve response. A programmed surge. Artificial. My cardiac event wasn't stress. It was triggered. A device had sent a shock through my badge, a silent pulse designed to mimic arrhythmia. A quote floated back to me, one someone told me in a moment that should have been comforting. People don't break you because they hate you. They break you because it's useful. Useful. I covered my mouth.
Cut scene.
A metallic clatter echoed near the back of the room. Something, or someone, stepped onto a loose metal grate. I ducked behind a pillar, heart hammering against bone. The burner phone buzzed. I looked. The timer had synced to a new countdown flashing on the Aegis interface. 9 minutes and 37 seconds. 9 minutes and 36 seconds. 9 minutes and 35 seconds. 2 countdowns. Whoever set this up wanted me in panic mode. Panic makes mistakes. Not today. I shoved the server's crash panel open and yanked the manual breaker. Sparks erupted. Electricity hissed along the floor tiles. For 1 second, the whole room stuttered back to life, lights flicking in rapid spasms like a dying fluorescent heartbeat. And that strobe lit the one thing I hadn't been able to see in the dark. A camera, mounted in the top corner, rotating, tracking me. I stared straight into it. You want me dead, I whispered. But you should have checked if I had anything left to lose.
Static.
A low hum, a shadow creeping over the far wall like a figure stepping forward. I didn't wait to see who it was. I grabbed the drive, ripped it free, and sprinted toward the maintenance stairs, breath ripping loose in short, sharp bursts. My boots slammed concrete. Dust rained from above. The phone vibrated again. I looked. 8 minutes. My chest tightened, not from fear this time, but from clarity. They didn't want me to burn out. They wanted me to flatline before I could ever speak. The stairs led to a concrete sublevel, cold, unfinished, industrial. I hit the bottom landing hard. My knees screamed. The flash drive pulsed in my pocket like it had a heartbeat of its own. 7 minutes and 13 seconds. A metal door stood ahead. Unmarked. Rusted shut.
I kicked it. Twice.
A third time. It groaned open just wide enough. Inside. Another server cage. This one still alive. A humming pulse echoed through the floor. Half-lit panels blinked like sleeping eyes. The rack was active but dormant. Hidden power. I pulled a wire from the back of the flash. Slid it into the console's primary port. Screens booted. Static resolved. File tree. Failsafe kill switch Aegis_core. There it was. The command line waited. I typed in the override. My old dev ID still worked. A miracle or a trap? I couldn't tell.
The air changed.
Pressure. Movement. My phone buzzed. I glanced down. 6 minutes and 19 seconds. Then, an engine. Outside. I froze. No road out here. No delivery. No one but me should have known this place still had power. I dropped to the floor, crawled to the wall panel, and flicked the camera switch. Grainy black and white feed.
2 men.
One in a courier uniform, the other with military gait, clean movements. Both armed. I whispered. Of course they didn't come to fix anything. I pulled a nearby wire spool from the rack. Dug for what I needed. Coax line, ignition filament, old battery pack from an emergency light. Rigged a short burst EMP. One shot. 15-foot radius. Enough to blind trackers, fry signals, maybe confuse the cameras for 30 seconds. Just long enough. Footsteps now. Boots on metal stairs. They were coming fast. I yanked the fuse, crouched, whispered under my breath. You want to kill the system. You start with the power.
Flash. Pop.
EMP burst like a thunderclap. Lights died. Servers howled, then fell quiet. Silence.
Cut scene.
Then gunfire. Sparks erupted from the steel panel near my head. A bullet grazed it clean. I hit the ground hard, rolled left. Shadows moved near the entry. One man stepped through. Silencer attached. Military grip. I reached for the backup, vent shaft. Too slow. Vickie, he said. That voice. That voice I knew. He stepped into the half-light. Arlo. He looked thinner. Eyes red. Movements sharp. But it was him.
Alive.
Holding a gun on me. My brain couldn't catch up. You. I stammered. He didn't smile. I told you not to dig. My stomach dropped. Was it always you? He didn't answer. Instead, he motioned to the server behind me. You uploaded? I shook my head. He aimed higher. I'm not here to hurt you, he said. I'm here to finish what you wouldn't. You helped me build that failsafe. That was before you made yourself a liability. I laughed, bitter and low. Funny thing about liabilities. We're just assets that stopped obeying. The moment fractured. I lunged right toward the wall. Another shot fired. This one hit my shoulder. I screamed.
Collapsed.
Warm blood surged. My vision narrowed. Lights flickered again. Then, another figure behind Arlo.
Fast. Silent.
Tackled him sideways. Gun clattered across concrete. I gasped.
Cass.
He stood over Arlo, face stone cold. Didn't think I'd find you here, Harper, he muttered, then turned to me. Can you move? Not fast. He bent, lifted me halfway. Then we don't run. We shut it down. He handed me the flash drive. Last chance, I whispered. Cass glanced back at Arlo, groaning now, one hand reaching for his boot. Then Cass looked at me. You still believe in consequences? I nodded.
Good, he said.
Because this one's going to cost. I jammed the drive back in. Typed with my good hand. Command. Kill_switch. /initiate. /yes. The system roared. Files unlocked. Chains broke. Server after server dropped into shutdown. One after another. Cascade failure. Alarms screamed. Smoke.
Dust.
And one final screen. All data released. Multi-channel upload initiated.
Cass pulled me up.
We're not staying for the applause. Behind us, Arlo screamed as the system collapsed.
We ran.
Lights shattered above. Smoke chased us out. Sirens, real ones now, approached from the ridge. The warehouse burned behind us. But everything they built inside was already gone. Then pull it, I whisper. But make damn sure I don't get back up. 2 days later, Spokane was on fire, but not the kind you could see. Data dumped. Names exposed. Government inquiries launched. Evertech's name dragged through every federal briefing and late-night news segment. They didn't even bother with denials. Just silence. Like they always did when things got messy. That silence? It was my proof. I sat across from Cass at the safe house kitchen table. My shoulder wrapped tight. Every muscle still buzzing with pain, but I was breathing. Any word from Arlo? I asked. Cass poured black coffee.
Gone.
Probably out of state. Maybe out of country. But the files you dumped? He can't run from that. I stared at the window. Morning light bleeding through half-closed blinds. Dust drifting like slow snow. You ever think survival's not the hard part? I said. It's staying. Cass didn't respond. He didn't need to.
Cut scene.
I watched the footage again. The final crash logs. Digital timestamp. Power failure. Cascade override. And then, silence. There was no satisfaction in watching it burn. No victory parade. No family redemption arc. Just the truth, finally loud enough to drown the lies. People ask why whistleblowers come forward. It's not justice. It's not rage. It's exhaustion. It's the moment when protecting them costs more than losing everything. That afternoon, I sat in the back of a federal interview suite. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. A DOJ badge blinked across the table. The agent looked at me like a puzzle. You know what they'll do to you, right? She asked. I know what they already tried. She slid a contract across the table. Protection. Relocation. New name. Why not take the deal? She said. Because I'm not hiding. I stood. My legs ached, but I didn't waver. Every system has a kill switch, I said. You just have to know where they buried it. That night, I returned home. My real home. Doors still taped. Mail still stacked. I walked to the bedroom. Stared at the mirror above my dresser. Cracked right down the middle. From that night, they called me a liability. I didn't replace it. There's something honest about broken reflections. They show the parts they tried to erase. I picked up my phone. One message. No name. We still need you. The family is falling apart. I stared at it. Deleted it. Some debts never existed in the first place.
Twist.
A new message. Unfamiliar number. Just a file.
Video.
I opened it. Arlo. Wearing a hoodie. Eyes bloodshot.
Breathing fast.
If you're seeing this, they're not done. This goes deeper than you think. We were never the architects. We were the weapons. He looked off camera. Shutdown wasn't the end. It was the reset.
Click.
Video ended. I didn't blink. They always said the scariest part of any fall is the silence, right before you hit the ground. They were wrong. It's the moment you realize no one ever tried to catch you. I sat down. Opened my laptop. Plugged in the last drive I hadn't touched. The one no one else knew existed. If the system reset, then so would I. The only difference now? I know who I am when everything else is gone. They erased me once. Now I decide who gets to exist.